Well, no doubt it has been a rough 4 days for folks in Vaughn. They lost running water last Thursday, and they're waking up without it once again today. The New Mexico Rural Water Association says the main line that runs to Vaughn is half a century old. It is 23 miles long, and last Thursday it sprung a huge leak. So the 400 people who live there have no water coming out of their faucets.
We just haven't been able to find that one big one, and they finally found a big one out in a big pasture. And it was every bit of a 250,000 gallon rate.
We're told the leak was fixed yesterday afternoon, but again, the water is not on back yet. No word on when it will be back on. The Red Cross is helping out, giving folks 80 cases of water. Some gas stations have helped out as well. And as we told you earlier, today is Veterans Day. So with a lot of schools taking a day off, you should know that Vaughn Municipal Schools were scheduled to have classes today, but with no running water, they have closed their doors and they've not said when they will open once again.
Thousands are feared dead in the Philippines. That record-breaking typhoon that pounded the island has now made landfall in Vietnam. Officials say an accurate death toll has been difficult to get since communication systems in that area remain down. Although on Twitter right now, officials are tweeting that as many as 10,000 people could be feared dead because of this super typhoon. The Pentagon is sending U.S. Marines and supplies to assist in recovery. President Obama has released a statement saying he is deeply saddened by the loss of life. Officials say Typhoon Haiyan was one of the most powerful storms to ever make landfall in recorded history. And you know, people here in New Mexico are doing what they can to help the victims of the typhoon in the Philippines. Although the devastation is a world away, a Northeast Albuquerque church, Catholic church, Prince of Peace, is keeping their island in their prayers. Deacon Leandro Centinera watched from afar as the typhoon tore through his birthplace.
There were 4 people who died, and then it became 100, and then 1,000 just yesterday. But this morning when I woke up and I saw that they estimate, like 10,000 people, that's one too many, And so that's when I told my wife, I said, we've got to do something.
The deacon is helping to organize donation opportunities through the church for victims of the typhoon. And we're told donations have already started coming in. We'll, of course, keep you posted on how things progress.
All right, 5:34 now. Some call them the, quote, undesirables. Others say they are the worst of the worst. Either way, they've landed themselves on a lifetime ban list from every single non-Indian casino here in New Mexico. On special assignment, Katie Kim showed us 18 people who were banned from state-regulated casinos for offenses that run the gamut, from cheating on slot machines and stealing money to getting drunk and starting fights. On top of that, individual casinos, such as the Downs at Albuquerque, can also ban people, and so far about 100 people have made the list there.
We want people to come here and enjoy themselves, and if people aren't behaving, they're not going to be here.
To find out more about what these people did to get banned, some of it you're going to be quite surprised with, make sure you head over to KRQE.com anytime or watch Katie's report tonight at 9 o'clock on 2 Casa Fox. Millions of dollars in federal grant money will help open the doors to new community health centers here in New Mexico. Federal government awarded more than $2.4 million of 3 new community health centers. Ones like these have helped more than 284,000 people last year.
Early voting continues for the city of Albuquerque's special election, and polls will remain open today for Veterans Day. The city clerk says all 12 of the early voting location sites will be open today from 9 to 6. Voters are deciding whether to ban late-term abortions. There's also a city council runoff between Democrat Diane Gibson and Republican Janice Arnold Jones in the Uptown area. The city clerk says 22,456 people have already voted early so far, which is a record up to this point. In other news this morning, we should learn more today about the man police say caused an 8-hour standoff in Albuquerque this weekend.
Yeah, we're talking about the one that closed down the Big I Friday night and snarled traffic for hours. It all started when police pulled over Jason Kearns in connection with a hit-and-run investigation. They say Kearns had a gun, so officers called for backup. That started the standoff, which lasted until early Saturday morning. Back in August of 2005, we found out Kearns was accused of shooting down a Bernalillo County Sheriff's helicopter. Those charges got dropped. And 2 years later, Kearns sued the sheriff's office, claiming his civil rights were violated when he was arrested. But he lost that argument in court. Kearns has not been charged in connection with Friday's standoff. He is still undergoing a mental evaluation. Well, today, as we've been talking about, New Mexico and the country honors the heroes who served our country with special events and ceremonies all around the state.
And here are a few of the events that are kicking off today. Governor Susana Martinez is expected to attend two Veterans Day ceremonies. The first one begins this morning at 8:20 at Sunset Mesa School on Morris Street in Northeast Albuquerque. The second is expected to begin at 12 a.m. at the New Mexico Veterans Memorial on Louisiana Boulevard Southeast. Meanwhile, Rio Rancho will have its own ceremony at Veterans Monument Park. That's at 11. It's located off of Pine Tree Road off of Southern Boulevard. Mayor Tom Swistak is expected to attend. Of course, here in Albuquerque, there's also a huge parade going on too.
Absolutely. Just in time for Veterans Week 2013, the USS New York has returned to New York City and is docked in the Hudson River on the west side. That means hundreds of U.S. sailors are in the Big Apple today for Veterans Day. The ship was built in part from 7 tons of steel salvaged from the rubble of the World Trade Center after 9/11.